Well, good morning, everyone. Let me see. I don't think this is actually working. Well, maybe it is. Let's see. If I can get a sound check here. Okay, yes it is. Okay, yeah, I couldn't get it to come up on my, but it is up there now, so we are good. I do apologize I have to do that because we have had a lot of problems with streams not going through. It took me like 3 times to get it going last night, and then one time it dropped. So, alright, so here we are. We are at the pinnacle of the 2024 Season 3 of the HECS, and this will be next weekend, will be the Championship, Summer Series Championship, Part 2. It is the last chance for anybody to get in and get points. It's the last chance for going for the win, and I will tally up the as they run results this week sometime and post those. We ran our KingPittdawg Racing 500 last night, and that was a success. With the new physics, the cars work really good, and they're very much more stable at Daytona Oval. And we ran our Cup car race cars. We had a good battle, and the win was by, I think it was 0.014 seconds. Basically a fender. Makoto pulled out coming off of 4. JT was leading, and he won right at the line with a little bit of a help from Cody, who joined us, and thank you guys all for racing. We had 10 cars in the room last night, which was a good number. I would have liked to have had 12. I think it would have been slightly more competitive because there was a lot of Camaros. I was in the Viper. Makoto was in the SLS. Let's see, who else we have? I think everybody else was in a Camaro. Trying to think if there was any others. I don't think there was. Yeah, everybody else was pretty much in a Camaro, which again is basically the car we kind of built everything around because it's kind of boosted in the game. So, oh no, you know what? Adam and DJ had the Corvettes, but because we had restricted the Corvettes so much, they kind of struggled a little bit on because they couldn't get up to speed. And it was really tough on Adam, too, because he's running controller, and it's really hard at the ovals. I mean, it's hard with a wheel, and you're constantly moving the wheel, especially in the corners. So I appreciate Adam continuing to run with us, and that's tough, especially at the ovals. But we'll be at Goodwood this upcoming week. This is going to be the Goodwood Festival of the Ages. So what we're doing, as you can see, I've got the cars here. These are the HSSR HISR cars that we use, and they are 250 to 255 horse, 2,800 pounds, and they are specifically built. So I'm actually going to start here because this is the last car. I'm going to go in here and show you a build, and I'm just going to use the Z here. So we basically make these out of stock cars. So what I'm going to do is show you what you do, and the easiest way to do is just follow what I'm doing here. Go through the entire thing. So after you buy your car, so what would you would do? You go to Brand Central here. In fact, I might just build another one of these just so I can show everybody what we're doing. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just build another one of these. We're going to buy the stock Z Performance 23 car. And we'll just get the blue one since it's already up there. Okay, so once you've bought the car, you got to get in it, obviously. Come on. I do want to get into the car. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down here. And again, all of our builds are basically the same. Okay, the Cup cars are the same, the Craftsman trucks are the same, and the Super Cup cars are going to be the same. We are going to modify these road cars, these stock cars, to the maximum amount we can do on the game. So you start off here, go over to car maintenance and service, and we want to add wide body. Now, if you're buying a used car, I would suggest doing your restore rigidity and engine overhaul if you're buying a used one, depending on which car you're running. But you don't have to. I mean, that's a choice. It depends on how much you think you're going to run it. So let's start with the wide body. We add that in. And again, it's very important to do this first because otherwise you got to go in and add everything back in. Although they've improved that because I didn't have to do that on all the cars. So once we've done that, you got to apply it, obviously. And then You know, you can leave the stock wheels on it, but what I'd like to see, you know, get the wheels you want on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and put something that looks similar to stock on this one, because this is, so I pretty much have ones that are basically the same here. So we're going to go down here and we're going to use the BBS RIDs. We're going to add that now. With the hissers, we want the closest thing to 17-inch you can get, so we're going to have to do 18 on this car, and then wide wheels. So I can't, because we got such a huge range of cars, we can't get 17-inch on all of them, but 18-inch is the lowest I can go on this one. That's close enough to 17, so we can go right there. So, and we're going to do wide because we got a wide body, so wide offset, wide wheels. All right, so there's that. Now we got that part done. Now we're going to go straight over to custom parts, and we're going to add the front splitter. If it's available, they're not always available, but we're going to add the side skirts. And again, I already have this car, so I'm not having to pay for it since I already got it once. And then we're going to use the diffuser style rear bumper. So basically, instead of calling it a rear bumper, I'm calling it a diffuser. And then the custom wing set, all of the cars, same thing with the cup cars and everything that we're using, they're all medium 22, and the reason is because that kind of has flat, kind of has angled, kind of has curved, kind of has back, so that's why we use that wing. It's standard wing on all of them. There are a few exceptions, and I will go through that as we go through the cars. So this is going to take a little while, so just hang tight with us, and we'll go through all the cars, and you can decide what you wanna run. Okay, so racing items, again, hood pin. I want to see something on there because I want it to look like a race car, so you can do either one. Tow hook, I'd like to see this one, that way we're all consistent, but it's not absolute. I'm not going to disqualify if you don't. If the roll cage is available, we want the full roll cage in it. And not all cars do, and it's weird how they do it in the game. So just letting you know, not all the cars are going to have a roll cage in them, which is really odd. But maybe it's a rendering thing. I don't know. Get the best headlights you can get, I would recommend. I'd like to see only, I would suggest only having the rear plate. You can do the either type of rear plate if you want. Actually, you know what? I would like the Type A because we do have, that's going to be kind of the plate on the car unless you're running a specific one. So, I don't remember which one I used on this. So I think, I kind of like Type A better. We're going to put Type A on this just because we're making a car. Alright, so that basically finishes up your main build. And again, same thing. You're going to add, you know, I give you a little leeway with the grills and stuff, but we need a wide body, we need the front splitter, if you got it, the side skirt, and the rear diffuser style rear bumper. And then medium 22 wing. Okay, medium 22. Alright, so there's our basic build, and that's gonna, again, that's the same for the cup cars as it is for the hissers, and it'll be the same thing for the super cup cars. So now we go into tuning. And this is individually, not all cars will need everything. But as you can see from the weight on this car, we definitely got too much weight. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. First thing, we just start on the left, and it's easiest just to go tab to tab. We're going to go weight reduction stage 1. Gets us down to 3,000. Second tab here, we're going to do weight reduction stage 2. Make sure you get your power restrictor and your ballast while you're in here, because we're going to have to add weight now that we've over-reduced it. Fully customizable computer. Fully customizable LSD. And the hissers take a fully customizable manual transmission, okay? Not a racing transmission. Increased body rigidity. This is a pretty basic for a car you're going to make a race car. Realistic, that probably includes some, you know, because we got the roll cage, you would probably use that in your chassis bracing to make the car stronger, including like the rear and that. But again, we are kind of limited what we get here in the game. So, all right, now people have asked me before. You're welcome to use anti-lag if you want. It does use more fuel, but you're welcome to use it. I'm not putting it on any of the cars because I haven't seen any real benefit to it. So racing intercooler is a requirement because it's a turbocharger, as is the air filter, racing muffler, and the racing exhaust manifold. Now that's going to be all the cars. If it's naturally aspirated, it's just not going to have the racing intercooler. And again, here we are with the hissers, so we want to make sure we get racing brake pads, and you can do whatever brakes you want, either one of these two, but in this particular car, just to make it different, I'm putting slotted because I think I have drilled on the other one. Alright, then we want a brake balance controller, and again, that's a requirement, used to be an option. Fully customizable suspension, so we're basically putting a racing coilover suspension. Racing clutch and flywheel. Again, we want max on that. And then you can get what tires you want. I'm always buying the tires. All the tires for these cars. Just in case, so I don't have to, because I've got so many of these. But just remember, medium is our spec tire for the series. So if you can run soft on a car because it's got a low enough performance points level, then that's fine. But you do have to run at one point during any race, any given race, you have to run medium tires. So now, because you can see this car's performance right now is at 496 and 2720, and we need to be between 250 and 255 horse and 2,800 pounds even. Not more than 2,800 pounds, except for one car. And but 2,800 pounds is the spec weight, okay? So, alright, so we're going to go into the settings. Again, there's no driver involved in the car weight, so all the cars are the same weight. I mean, normally, in racing, it's the car's weighed with the driver. Alright, I give a lot of leeway on the specs on these cars, so pretty much anything you can set as you want. I am going to set the ride height on this pretty low. I'm going to set it down to 80, just because we want the cars as low as we can get. I would be very careful. With some of the cars, because you may get to the point if you get it too low, because they weren't designed that way. The older cars, especially, you may get them too low where you start rubbing. So you might have to raise body height. So I would test that. All right, I'm going to leave all this stuff this other stuff stock. But now we've got 80, 180 on the downforce. We're going to leave that as it is. Ballast we're going to need to put. It looks like it's probably going to be about 38, maybe. Let's go 36 and see what happens. Well, we're already there. Yeah, look at that, 36 exactly. So 36 on the ballast. And again, this car's pretty front heavy, so you can push the weight all the way back as long as it stays within the spec. And then power restrictor, we got quite a bit of power. We're going to start just by reducing it all the way down. We're still way up, so now we're going to go about half just to kind of figure out where we're at. We're getting closer. 259, 256, there we go, 252. Okay. So, very important, make sure you use the power restrictor first before we start screwing with output adjustment, okay? So if the car is really high power, like this one was almost 500 horse, you start with the restrictor. You probably just, higher horse car, just go all the way to the left and see where it's at, and then go from there. But these cars will all be spec'd out that I'm giving you, so just giving you an idea what you need to do. Alright, so as you can see, this is what everything's set up as it should be. Racing intercooler, air filter, muffler, exhaust. I'm not going to go over all of these on every car, but I will flash these screens up so you can screenshot them. Again, I'm spending more time on this one so everybody knows what's going on. So that is your basic hisser build. And again, cup cars, the only difference is you're going to be in the 500 to 500, 515 to 518 range, and that's going to be either horsepower or torque with the Viper, horsepower in all the other cars. And that one will be 28, 24 pounds because of the Gran Turismo. So that would be the cup cars. Now, we're going to go right down the whole entire list. So I got my favorite cars, so we got them sorted out. And thank you again, JT, I didn't know you could do this, so I've been doing this the hard way. So we're going to go through all the cars. We've already done the Z Performance, but I'm going to open this car just because I want them to stay in order when I do this. So, all right. So last used, the next car in line is going to be the G70. And this is the Genesis 3.3 GT. So there is that car. Now this one under HSSSR spec, we've got 3 weight reductions, increased body rigidity, of course. This is a turbocharged car, so make sure you get that intercooler. We got the fully customizable manual. We are at 18 on the ballast, which I've got at 50 towards the rear because it's a nose-heavy car. And the power restrictor is at 70, so max, and then 81 on the output. I don't have any arrow on this car. We can put a little arrow on it. I just try to put it in the middle. I think we took the arrow off or something I was testing, so it gives us a little bit higher number. Not a big difference. This is a pretty low number car, and I think it's because it's just kind of heavy. You know, all-wheel drive cars tend to be heavy. And we reduced the weight and then added weight, and we had to restrict the power quite a bit. So the power restriction really is going to hurt it. Oh, one thing, and this is important. For all-wheel drive cars, you need to have the torque vectoring center differential, and then you can set that how you want it. So I will touch on that on all the cars as we go through them. All right, next car in line is the Corolla Maurizio Edition. So this is a GR Corolla, and this car is kind of hurt on the numbers a little bit because we're adding weight and restricting it. So this one just needs 2 weight reductions. Again, you have the racing intercooler, the fully customizable manual, torque vectoring center differential. So when you're building that, make sure you get that. This particular car, we're adding 71 kilograms of ballast, and then 50 on the position, and then 72 on the restrictor. And as you notice, the output is at 100. So this car is not horrible, because this was over 600, I think, before the physics update. So all the cars changed. So it's opening things up a little bit for us. But that's your GR Corolla Maurizio Edition. Again, add your front splitters, side skirts. Now this one, because it's a hatch like it is, let's go, I'll show you the wing there. So this particular style wing, which looks like the medium 22, but that's all you can get. I think this one is type B, but you'll be able to tell. Just look at what's up there. You can build this car, and then just look at that spec on the, you can see the type of spoiler it has on the back. So that's the one we want. All right, next car up, the Civic Type R. And this is the FL5. There's several of these Civic Type Rs in here, so I will show you out the difference. Again, we're going to start over here, weight reduction stage 1 and 2. This is a turbocharged car. Again, we're going to need racing intercooler, just making sure you get that. We are at 70 on the restrictor and 93 on the output adjustment to get 253 horse. We are at 84 on the ballast, and again, heavy car in the front, so we're putting the ballast to the back. You can do what you want with the ballast, but I would suggest trying to even these cars out if you can. And again, all these settings are open, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through these, but this is a front engine, front drive car. Alright, next one up is the originals. These are the cars that basically kind of started this whole HSSSR thing. This is the GR86. And as you can see, we have no weight reductions, no adds to the engine. We simply add the racing air filter and muffler and exhaust, because it is a naturally aspirated car. Don't forget your fully customizable manual. Again, no individual gear adjustments on these and our restrictions, so you're going to set top speed, and that's how you can adjust it. Now this car, because when we changed from the series we had before to this, I required all of the things like the air filter, muffler, exhaust, and all that. We do have to restrict this one just a little bit, not much. So it's 94 on the restrictor, and then I had put ballast, but the weight is exactly 118. This ballast can be 0. So, and again, you can do what you want with fully customizable LSD. I tend to keep most of the cars set up pretty much the same, where I double the initial torque, and then I put the braking sensitivity somewhere in between, depending on what I think the car will deal with. So there is the GR86, and the BRZ is basically the same car. And I'll just quickly flash this up so anybody's doing it. Again, everything is the same. So 94 on the ballast, or 94 on the restrictor, no ballast needed. And I think I got this car set up a little bit different, C15, 30, 15. But I don't think I've ever actually driven this one in a race, just maybe a little testing here and there. Alright, so that gets our first row of cars done. Now we're going to go to the GR Yaris. And again, this is basically the same drive line as the GR Corolla. So this one is actually hurt because it has to be added, has to be restricted. So this one requires just one weight reduction. Again, don't forget with the, you need all your intake and exhaust stuff on all cars. And then with this one having a turbo, you need the intercooler. And then you're going to be 79 on the restrictor. And then again, we got to add 109 ballast, and we're going to put that to the back. You can put it where you want it. But you can see this hurts this car's performance point. So I think, all things being considered, the GR Corolla is going to be the car you're going to want to build, not this one. You're welcome to. This car got a little shorter wheelbase, so it might be a little bit harder to handle. And then again, don't forget that torque vectoring, center differential, and all-wheel drive cars, which I didn't point out on the GR Corolla. Alright. Next car, there's another one of our Civic Type Rs. This is the FK8, the 2020. Now, this car, again, this was one that needed a lot of restrictions, so there's no engine mods. One weight reduction was needed on it. And again, turbocharged car, so racing intercooler. We're going to be 70 on the restrictor and 96 on the ECU. Our ballast is going to be 37. And again, another front heavy car, so you're going to want to move it back if you can. But again, you're welcome to do what you want. So that is your Civic Type R FK8. The next car up is going to be something that changed actually since the update. So we're going to go into this one first. This is the GR Super RZ19, which before would not fit under the spec, but now it does. So you can use this without the engine swap, and I'm still going to allow the engine swap because we had it for so long. But I'll go into that in just a moment. So this car's going to need the 3 weight reductions, and don't forget your increased body rigidity. All of our other parts, including the intercooler, as we mentioned before. 70 on the restrictor, 88 on the output, 39 on the ballast, and again, you can put that where you want. At 25, it makes it 50-50. So that would probably be... This car runs really well. Or the at least the 2J1 does. This one, I'm sure, is just as good. And you get 7 gears. So there is your non-engine swapped Supra GR Supra 2019. Now here is the one with the engine swap on it. And again, this was the only way I could get this car to where you could use it. It runs very well. This has got the 2JZ GTE in it. We need a bunch of weight reductions on this because that 2J is heavy. So you're going to go from 1 to 4 or 3 to 4 on this one. You have 4 weight reductions on it. Don't forget your increased body rigidity. We're 70 on the restrictor, 92 on the ECU, 15 on the ballast, and again you can move it to the back wherever you want. But the biggest thing is right here, 2JZ GTE swap. So that was the only way we could make this car work before. Now you don't have to have that, but I think this is probably a better engine for racing. But you're welcome to use the other model, or the other one with the stock engine in it. I think it's a B58 or N58. I always get those confused what code designation those BMW engines are. So this is the Mazda 319, and again, you notice this has that same wing similar to the GR Corolla back there. Now this, oh shoot, why did it do that? I bumped, it must not have switched. Alright, now this one, pretty underpowered from the factory, so we're going to do our weight reductions, our increased body rigidity, but this is like the first car with a lot of engine mods, so we're going to do bore up S, high lift camshaft, racing crankshaft, and high compression pistons. I think bore up S is in extreme, so we may not be able to run that. I don't recall doing that, but because I do keep the rooms as extreme and under, not ultra or whatever that final category is there in the tuning shop. So power restriction on this one, 96. Again, front heavy car, move the ballast back at 42 pounds on the ballast, or 42 kilograms on the ballast. And then your fully customizable differential and your torque vectoring center differential. So let's go take a look at that since we're in this car and I'm not going to screw up my list. Yeah, I don't know why I did that like this. Let's build another one of these real quick while we're in here and see if we can make the spec. I just want to make sure it's right for everybody. I may have built this car originally to race in, and so let's see what we can do if we can build this car up without that S, because I do always have the rooms restricted. Come on. Alright, so we're going to grab our Mazda 3 2019. We're going to do this one in, what's the machine gray? Let's do that in machine gray so we know we've got two different cars. So we're going to buy it. Again, this is be a quick hisser build here, so just hang tight. I'm going to show you how fast you can do it. So right now, it is 7:41. I'll show you how fast you can build a hisser. So, first things first, wide body. That's in GT Auto. All right. So wide body. I started my stopwatch a little bit ago, so we're going to see how long it takes to build this. Again, this is actually, if you follow me, it's pretty simple because you're basically just going right down the list. All right, so our wide body took us roughly 30 seconds, including the upload. And then we're going to do wheels, and again, this may take you some time if you want to choose a different wheel, but we're going to get, I'm going to put this wheel on this one. Again, if you can do 17, do 17. Make sure it's wide, wide. We don't have that option here on this one, so. Alright, so there's the basic build. We're not even a minute in yet. Front, we're going to add Type A. Side, we're going to add Type A. Rear, we're going to add the diffuser. And wing, we're going to add Type B. So again, Type B on that one, so that particular design. Now again, you can do whichever one of these hood things you want. There's no roll cage available. So we're going to add our license plate. I'm going to add our lights. License plate Type A. Got to clear that grill out for air intake. Okay, so our basic build is done in 1 minute and 30 seconds. And now we're going to go through our tuning. Now this may take a little bit longer because we got to make sure we get the engine up to spec. Because you see it's pretty underpowered, 177 horse. We're going to have to add weight reduction stage 1. And we're going to have to go over here weight reduction stage 2. We're going to need our power restrictor and ballast. Fully customizable computer. Fully customizable LSD. Fully customizable manual trans. And increased body rigidity. Racing, we're going to add, we're going to change this around. We're going to start with engine balance tuning. That's 203. Polish ports, 206. Racing intercooler. Racing air filter. Racing muffler. Racing exhaust manifold. Okay, we're at 233 horse. Racing brake pads. Again, you don't have to buy both brakes. I just do because I'm anal. So, brake balance controller, fully customizable suspension, racing clutch and flywheel. This is an all-wheel drive car, fully customizable torque vectoring center differential. Racing hard tires. Racing soft tires. And I always do the mediums last because that's our spec tire, so it'll automatically come up set up right. Alright. So I do see why I did that, I guess, now, because we could not get to... Let's see if we can go backwards. Excuse me. More up. High lift camshaft. And there you go. We're right at it. 255 horse. You can add the... Let's see if this adds any torque. Yeah, if you want to add the high compression pistons, that's fine. You're going to have to restrict it just a little bit, but that'll give you a little bit more torque. Semi-racing. I could have added semi-racing crankshaft. I don't think that adds much power, but we can do that. That gives you a little bit more revving. And then I think that's it. We're not going to ever add any of these cars. We're going to keep the standard turbocharger on them just to add bolt-on parts. Alright, so we were able to do it. And that was 4 minutes. So less than 5 minutes, we can build this car and run the settings. We're at 4 minutes, 15 seconds right now. And I'm even going to do edit name. Okay. Alright, and again, you can set these where you want. I'm going to set everything in the middle just because I'm doing that on all the cars. And again, this you could probably set these when you get in the room if you're in a room. Alright, we're going to leave everything else there. We're going to go power restrictor. We're going to go 93. Ballast is going to be, I think it's going to be right around 40. 42 on the ballast. Again, you can, I would shove that as far back as you can. Fully customizable manual. I usually set these at, oh, that's weird. There it goes, 300. Alright, so there's our list of things we need. I don't know why I did that like that before. That was really odd. But 5.5 minutes and we built ourselves a car and did some modifications to what we had as spec. So this is the now official spec for this car. Pardon me. Alright, so that finishes that one off. Let's keep moving because I want to get this thing done. Again, less than 5 minutes there. Or less than 6 minutes and we had that whole entire car built. Alright, now on to the next one. This is the 2018 M2 competition. Again, this car is a good car, but it's really restricted because we're reducing weight and reducing power and adding weight. So we do do weight reduction, but then we have to add a bunch of ballast in it on this one, or a little bit. 10 ballast, and again move that to the back, make it as close as possible. We're 70 on the restrictor, 73 on the output, so that's where we really get killed. And again, we don't have any engine mods, just our standard bolt-on upgrades that are required. And that's it. It might perform better now. A lot of these cars are higher or closer to like 580 to 600 now than they were before. Some of them were way over and probably not very realistic, but that gives you an idea on that one. That car always seemed a little slow because it was so restricted. Here's the Alpine A17. Again, this is another car that seemed restricted before, and now it looks like it's holding its settings pretty well. Again, nothing on this one, no weight reduction needed, just increased body rigidity. It's exactly 2,800 pounds. But you did have to add a bunch of ballast on it, which we still have, and we move that to the front just to try to balance it out. You might be able to play around with that because you want traction on these mid-engine cars. But as you can see, whoop, yeah, let's just split that in half. Let's see what it does. Oop, it didn't take. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it gave us a little bit more actually. So yeah, it's probably better off having that not all the way to the front. But again, don't forget all of our miscellaneous things that we have to have: the brakes, the intercooler, the clutch and flywheel, all that. I'm just going to remind you on this car because this is a car I really like driving when it's not as restricted. But this one's going to have a little bit more weight, so if you play with that ballast, you might be able to increase the performance of it. Alright, so that is your Alpine, and now we'll move on to the next one, and we are now at one of our cars and I'm gonna go into this one because this one's set up as a dual and show you how you can switch it. So I'm gonna start with this one, then we'll go into the spec. So the Camaro and Mustang and a few others we can run both as cup cars and as hissers. So in order to make this, which is right now, as you can see, this is set up as a cup car, so it's at 516 horse, 2824. The only thing you really got to change, fully customizable racing transmission to fully customizable manual. And then we got to add in restrictions on this, so we got to go down, I think it's all the way, if I'm not mistaken. Because that's why it barely fits in there. Yep, you got to go all the way down on it, on the output and the restrictor, and then the ballast. And now you can take some ballast out to go to a hisser. 33, you go from 44 to 33. All right, we're going to put it back in the cup settings, but you can see that that it's at 252 and 2,800 pounds, and we are at 605.29 on the spec. Again, this is my dual prototype, so we're going to go into the regular car now. And again, here are your settings, including your weight reductions, which is 3 of them, and your increased body rigidity. And again, 70 on the power restrictor, 70 on the output, ballast at 33 for a hisser spec. All right, so there's your Camaro. Now I built this car, but the newer ones are more powerful. But this car is a little bit more niche, so you're going to have your racing air filter muffler and exhaust manifold. We're going to be at 98 on the restrictor to get right at 255, and we'll be 30 on the ballast. And again, I move that to the back, try to balance the car out a little bit. All this stuff, as you know from before, you can do as you wish. So that's the GR. Actually, it wasn't a GR back then. This is the GT Limited, and as you can see, I still consider those the Celica. So, Focus ST. This one, again, it looks like it's holding its own now. This was pretty restricted before, so again, the physics update helped some of these cars as far as performance point level, and dropped a few down. This one seems to be right where it was before. So weight reduction stage 1 and 2, increased body rigidity. This is an all-wheel drive. No, this is front-wheel drive. Yeah, these are front-wheel drive. I'm sorry, I was thinking RS. So we're 82 on the restrictor and 57 on the ballast. So there's your Ford Focus ST. Basically a Mazda speed engine in it. Alright, on to the next one. Now we're at the RCZ. Now this one, again, this one seemed to pick up, or at least hold its own. This is a front engine, front drive car. So this one, oh, I got the bore up S on there again. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Probably was thinking I was going to leave the rooms open at that time. So let's build another one of these. I've got plenty of cash right now. I want to see if we can do it without the S, because if I have to leave the room open, I guess I would, but I don't really want to for one or two cars. All right, this is the... Is it Peugeot? Where is it at? Oh, France. There we go. I hadn't gotten there yet. GT line 15, so that's our base car. Oop, I didn't want to do that. Let's do a red one. I don't do a lot of red cars. Okay, so you're getting a... everybody's getting a couple of builds, so there should be no question how to build these. Now, we're going to get in the car. I'm going to time it, see how fast I can do this when I know what I got to do here. So let's try it. We're going to see if we can beat that 5.5 minutes. All right, here we go. Again, first thing we're going to do is wide body. If it was only that easy. Alright, we're 30 seconds in again, so let's see if we can beat our time here. He's kind of got kind of a different wheel that I don't use a lot, so let's just go to one of these type of wheels. 17, wide, wide. Alright. Front splitter. Side effect. This bumper already looks like it's set up as a diffuser. Okay, medium 22 wing. And again, if you got a roll cage, you add it in. Not all of them do. And type A rear only on that. Alright, we're less than 90 seconds in on this one, but it's still got to upload, so we are at 1 minute 35 seconds as it kicks out of that screen. Thing's pretty light, so I think we only need one weight reduction on this one. Power restrictor and ballast. Fully customizable computer. Fully customizable LSD. Fully customizable manual. Increased body rigidity. While we're in here, let's add things we don't necessarily need. I don't know why I did that like that. Alright, so that's that. Racing, we're going to go engine balance tuning. Polish ports. Alright, we're right at 200 horse. Let's see if we can get there with... Maybe that's why I did it on this one, because I couldn't quite get there. And yeah, we can't quite get there on this one. They don't give you a lot of options on this one. Yeah, that must have been why I did that on this one. Well, if anybody wants to run this, you're going to have to let me know, but we are going to have to add the bore up S. That still didn't get us there. Oh, there we go. Titanium connecting rods did. Alright, unfortunately that's not what I want to do, but if somebody wants to run that car, I will have to set the room, so somebody's going to have to let me know ahead of time if they want to run that car. I doubt if anybody would. But I do build these for everybody so you can access them. I'm going to set this up. I'm just going to put this on all of them. Alright, we're at 4 minutes and we've built our car. So, there we go. Now we're just going to set the restriction. Yeah, we can do 98 on that. And the ballast, we're going to need quite a bit of ballast on this one. So 55 on the ballast, and that is it. 4 minutes and 30 seconds we built this car. I'm just going to adjust this real quick. A little more front downforce on it, especially being front wheel drive. So there you go. Now again, if anybody wants to run this, is the only car so far I think we had to do the spec on. The S spec up in the ultimate tuning category. So, alright, so now we know there. So let's see, where was that at? That was the 15, so we got to find, I think it's the Mini Cooper was the next one. Oh no, we got this one first. Where's the Mini Cooper? Oh, that's an 05. At least I got the 5-part right. Alright, so now we're to the Civic Type R. This is the third one we've had, and this was the FK2. No engine mods on this one. Weight reduction stage 1 and our increased body rigidity. All of our standard bolt-on parts. And we will set the power restrictor on this one at 70. Move our ballast to the back. That's up to you. Again, you can set that how you want. But we do have to have 28 kilograms of ballast on this to get 2,800 pounds. And that's it for that one. That's pretty simple. Again, that one has the medium 22 wing, so it works out fine. Next one, the Clio, I think, RS Trophy. This is basically the same car as that. I think the Citroen has the same car. So this one, again, no weight reduction needed. This is a pretty light car, so we're actually adding weight to it, which hurts its performance point level a little bit. But we do add our power enhancers, our bolt-on power enhancers. So we are at 96 on the restrictor, and then we got to add 91 kilograms of ballast, unfortunately, to this car, so that kind of hurts it. Alright, M4 2014. This one looks like it's improved a little bit in the new physics. This is a badass looking car though. I mean, this thing just looks BA. So this one we're going to need 2 weight reductions. We're going to be at, it is, again, any of the turbos need the intercooler, racing intercooler. Power restrictor at 70 and output at 70. So this baby is fully restricted, and we're adding 28 kilograms of ballast to get to where it needs to be. And that should be it. I was just trying to see the shifter there. Okay, so they do have this one considered as an automatic. Bah. Alright. Okay, as of the Evos, I didn't build every single WRX, but they're basically very similar. So weight reduction stage 1 and 2 are normal stuff. Now this one's right at 70 on the restrictor. Different model you might have to do slightly different, but everything else is going to be the same. Don't forget your torque vectoring center differential and the all-wheel drives. And this one will require 34 kilograms of ballast. And again, you can move that to the back. So that is your STIs, and again, they're very similar. So you should be able to build off of that guidance and build even a newer one. Again, we got multiple TTs as well, but these are all actually different. So I did build all of these This particular one, the 2014 model, it is 1 on the weight reduction, 70 on the restrictor, 97 on the ECU, and 24 on the ballast. So that's the 14 version of the TT. This one is all-wheel drive, so don't forget your torque vectoring center differential. Now this is the 208. This is a shorter car than the other one by Peugeot. Again, only increased body rigidity over here. We're adding all of our bolt-on stuff. This one's going to be 100 on the restrictor, and the ballast is right at 252 horse with all of our power adders. So we didn't have to do any restriction on the engine, but we did have to have 70 kilograms of ballast, which hurts its performance a little bit. So this is the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. This seems to be a good car on people that have driven it. Weight reduction stage 1 and 2. This is a naturally aspirated car, so no intercooler on this one. We are at 70 and 95 on the output adjustment, and then 25 on the ballast. And again, these things, all this stuff can be set how you want. I am going to add a little downforce on this because it doesn't show any. Must have been running this somewhere and testing something. Alright, there we go. 585.66. That actually added 0.03 of a point. And that is, yes, that is Hyundai in racing blue. Now we're the A45 AMG, so I'm curious to see if this one changed at all. This one, decent car here. Does have to add, I think, some weight. After we do 2 weight reduction, we got to add some back in. And again, don't forget all-wheel drive, torque vectoring center differential. We are at 70 on the restrictor, 86 on the output, and 26 on the ballast. So that's your A45 2013. The Crown. Now the Crown, you know, is a cup car as well, but because it requires an engine swap to be the cup car, you are going to have a separate car for this one. So this is basically the stock V6 version, and it's going to have weight reduction stage 1, 2, and 3, and then increased body rigidity. This is a naturally aspirated car, so we're going to have just our air filter muffler and exhaust manifold. We're going to be at 72 on the restrictor, and then 49 on the ballast. And when I move the ballast to the back, it gives it a perfect 50-50 weight.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing? All right, Volvo T5 R Design. And just a review for those who might be joining us late here. This is a full detailed spec review of all of the HECS cars that we've written up or developed. So weight reduction stage 1, 2, and increased body rigidity on this one. 97 on the restrictor, 38 on the ballast, and again, you want to probably throw that to the back, but you can put it where you want. And then again, all these settings are pretty much open. Next car, the Megane, or Megane. Now I already forgot how he told me how to say that. So this is the RS Trophy car, and I think this is a pretty decent one.
I also have a IT channel.
Oh, cool! Excellent. Weight reduction stage 1, increased body rigidity. Racing intercooler, air filter muffler, exhaust manifold. And then we are going to be 79 on the restrictor and 22 on the ballast. And I think I'd put that all the way to the rear. Let's see if that helps us. Oh, that actually... Oh yeah, that helped quite a bit. So yeah, get as much weight off the nose as you can with that one. And that is the Megane. RS Trophy. Again, I
You
just
can't
have them.
subscribe.
Yeah, I will. I'll find you on there and I'll subscribe. Appreciate you coming on the channel. Thank you. So now we are with the Audi. This is the R8. I think you can get a couple of versions of this into the HSSR spec. It's kind of tight.
I have.
Weight reduction stage 1 and 2. 70 on the restrictor, 77 on the output, 22 on the ballast. And then for some reason I didn't put this all the way forward. Yeah, no, that's much better when I put it all the way forward. Alright, so yeah, that would be my suggestion. Again, you can put the weight where you want it. So this is the DS3 Racing. I think this is the same as the Peugeot. Just increased body rigidity. 100 on the restrictor, but 105 on the ballast. That's where this car's performance points get hurt. And fully customizable diff. This is a front-wheel drive car. It's similar to that one right there. I think they're basically the same car. Very close otherwise. Alright, so this brings us to the Scirocco R. Scirocco, however you want to say it. Weight reduction stage 1, increased body rigidity. Again, turbocharged car, so we need the intercooler. Then we're going to be 82 on the restrictor and a whole single 1 kilogram of ballast to get it to 2800. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to open this up. Just because I love the fact that instead of the engine revving, this one just beeps. Like the hybrids do. So, but I tried to make this car a HSSR. Unfortunately, we'll put this on mediums, which it should be anyway. Unfortunately, this is all we can do. We put everything I could on this car, and I can still only get 151 horse, so... This one, unfortunately, it did race pretty good. I finished second in the, I think it was a GR Cup race, if I'm not mistaken. So you got an idea what you can get with that one. Unfortunately, it's not going to be even remotely competitive, unless you'd have to put a ton of ballast on it. So we can't use that one, unfortunately. I know everybody's so disappointed. Alright, so now we're at the TTS 09, which is very similar, but this one, however, has a slightly different setup, if I remember right. We do 2 weight reductions, and then we're at 77 on the restrictor, 96 on the ballast, 50 on the positioning. I don't know why some of these don't have. We actually reduced it down. I think it's because we added rear downforce, but I think I was running that on a fast track as a challenge. Don't forget your torque vectoring center diff on your all-wheel drive cars. Now the Me Too, let's see, yeah, it still stayed about where it was. This car is unfortunately saddled with a bunch of weight. So we added everything we could to the engine under the Ultimate, below the Ultimate. And then we're 96 on the balance, but 125, I'm sorry, 96 on the power restrictor, but 125 on the ballast, which kills the numbers on this one, because that's a lot of weight on a car that small. Alright, now we're getting kind of into the meat and potatoes of the cars we got on here, the hissers. These Z cars are really, really good. So we'll see if the update, the physics update, changes these cars how they are, because they're pretty fast. Weight reduction stage 1 and 2, 70 on the restrictor, 95 on the ballast, 95 on the output adjustment, 46 on the ballast. I would think now we should be able to push this all the way to the back. Yep, we sure can. Alright, fully customizable manual, and everything else. Fully customizable rear diff. That is the 370Z. And then, of course, with that, the next car is the 350Z. Now this one, weight reduction stage 1 and 2, this one is 71 on the restrictor. And then 42 on the ballast. And I think now we should be able to push that all the way to the back. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because we're gonna cap the rooms at like 610 from now on. So that was your 350Z. Now we're on to 1. Again, this is 9, the final. This isn't the final edition. I think this is the Evolution 9. But as the other ones, these are pretty much the same. 2 weight reductions on this one. Alright, so this one here. Again, weight reduction stage 1 and 2. We're 70 on the restrictor. That's all we need. 92 on the ballast, so it adds a lot of weight. But everything else is the same. Alright. Mini Cooper. This is one of the few exception cars, and you can see the different wing on the back. Again, I think that's Type B. So, engine balance, tuning, and polish ports on this one. Now, this is the only car, because it's the only one that's supercharged, that I allowed the high-end supercharger on. And that was just to get it up to spec there. So, ballast is 90. Unfortunately, the car's weighed down quite a bit. But your restriction and your output is set at 100. And just one more time, the only one that we allow this particular edition, that's the high-end torque supercharger. Okay, the DeLorean here, kind of a unique car. It actually used this car quite a bit in challenges, and it does pretty well. It's just really odd because it's I think these are actually a true rear engine like a Porsche, so the engine is way back there. Instead of being mid-engine, it's way back hanging off the back of the axles. So we're going to need bore up, high lift camshaft, high compression pistons, weight reduction stage 1, and increased body rigidity. You're going to be set up at 94 on the restrictor, and unfortunately 111 on the ballast. So that's like the second highest, I think. So that's your DeLorean. Again, during the Festival of Speed here, this particular car can be used because technically they came out in 1980s. So this can be used in the 1980 to 2000 category, and then also the 2000 up, because this is listed as an 04. So one of the few exceptions, and as soon as I get done with going through the list, I'm going to go through the categories. That it's basically pre-1980s, then 1980 to 2000, and there's a few cars I'll allow to overlap that you could run in both races. So weight reduction stage 1 and 2, increased body rigidity, and 73 on the restrictor, 59 on the ballast. See if we put the weight there. That does a nice split for it. Picks up the numbers pretty good. So that would be my suggestion there. And again, all of these WRXs are very similar, so if you get ones that are older, you can just use the same basic setups. And again, this stuff is your choice, so I'm not going to put anything in there. Alright, on to the next one. There we go. Okay, so this is our third Audi TT. Now this one is the VR6 version. So this one needs no engine mods, but weight reduction stage 1 and 2, and then 91 on the restrictor, and then you can put the weight to the back, 54 kilograms of ballast. And don't forget, again, all-wheel drive, don't forget that torque vectoring center differential. Alright, next one up. Let's see, where's my... I find the Z and then I can find it. Alright, M303. So, no engine mods, weight reduction stage 1 and 2, increased body rigidity. This is naturally aspirated, so no intercooler. We were at 70 on the restrictor, 22 on the ballast, and 95 on the ECU. So this one is, again, weight reduction stage 1 and 2, and we got all that. And let's find the front again. It's getting harder to find the beginning. Here we are. Okay, so this is one of the original cars too. This car always did well, but it's a little unstable. So my suggestion would be run a little more downforce on it. Again, this was one of the original cars, so there's no weight reduction needed, no engine mods needed except our bolt-on stuff. But we are at 70 on the restrictor and 99 on the output. So that's your RX-7, the FD model. And then we've got the R34 GTR VSpec 02, and again I did all three of the GTRs, but they're all basically the same build because the engine was very similar the whole time it was being built. So weight reduction stage 1, 2, and 3, increased body rigidity, 70 on the restrictor, 88 on the ECU, 7 on the ballast, and don't forget your torque vectoring center differential. Next one up is the NSX Type R02. Now this one barely made the specs before, but it fits in there nicely now. You notice this car has a different wing, so make sure you use that wing on it. I think it's Type A. Might be Type B. I don't know. You'll have to figure out that particular wing. This one has no engine mods, 1 weight reduction. You're going to be 75 on the restrictor. And you can stick some of the weight to the front, but there is quite a bit of ballast, 127. Still a very, very good performing car. So it would be definitely one I would suggest. So now, down to the next one. And now this is one of your dual ones, and I'd only built the one prototype on this one. So this is one of the dual cars, and again, this can be used as a hisser or a cup car. No engine mods, weight reduction stage 1 and 2, 70 on the restrictor, 72 on the ECU, and 50 on the ballast. And then again, fully customizable manual is the difference, and the weight power. So, compared to the cup car version. Alright, so there's our Z, so there's our next car, is the Silvia Spec R Aero 02. This is another good car, one of our original cars, so you can see no weight reductions, no engine mods, increased body rigidity. 85 on the restrictor. Don't forget, with this being turbo, we need that racing intercooler. And then 30 on the ballast. So that's the Silvia Spec R Aero, the S15 version. Alright, here's where we're into the cars that you can overlap, because this restriction is technically 2000 and up and 1980 to 99. We're going to allow these three models to overlap, and one of them is the Tuscan Speed 6 here. Now this one is fairly restricted if I remember right, so, but no engine mods, no weight reductions. It's right at 2,800 pounds. Power restrictor at 70, 170 on the ballast, and then 86 on the output adjustment. So this one's hindered a little bit by the ballast, but it seems to have held its numbers on as far as the performance points level go. So this might be a good one to run, and because you could run them in both and keep the same setup. So that might be a good one for you. And then the other one that we have that's available in both is this one right here, the Impreza. This is the coupe version that's so highly sought after. This particular one has no engine mods, no weight reductions. It's right at 2,800 pounds when we add 10 kilograms of ballast, and it is at 74 on the restrictor. And again, this is another one you could run both. I think that's what the EJ engine that they had. Yeah, that's what it is. So this was the first version. All right, another car that is also a really good car that you can run in both of these is the S2000. So 4 cars you can run in both categories. The DeLorean, the S2000, the one we were just in, and then again the Tuscan Speed 6, the WRX 2-door. So this one, again, no engine mods, no weight reductions. It's increased body rigidity. 92 on the restrictor and 30 on the ballast. So that is the S2000. Now we're getting down. We're about a little bit over halfway down the list, I think. All right, Salady. And again, all these Saladys, 180, SX, the Sylvia Ks, they all are basically the same engine. It's the SR, what is it, SR20 DET, I think, with the turbocharger on it. SR20 DET, yep.
It's late, go to bed.
Oh, I've already been to bed and woke up early, so I could do this and get these, because I go through this list, so. Bore up is the only thing you need on this one, and the other engine you can do with stroke up. So you can do this either way. You can't do both, but you can do either or. 98 on the restrictor on this one, 100 on the ballast, and again, now we can move this ballast. Let's see if that overdoes it. Nope, that overdid it a little bit. Let's go to about 33. There we go. That gives us a 50-50 and gets us into that 600 category. So this car's probably improved with the physics engine. Okay, another one of the Lancers. Again, they're all built. This one.
Damn, then it's too early.
Yeah, right. So this is another one of the Lancers. Again, they're all very similar, just like the WRXs. No engine mods, 1 weight reduction. We're 70 on the restrictor, 98 on the ECU, and 46 on the ballast. So, like I said, all the WRXs and the Evolutions are very similar, so I didn't build them all. But you can build which, if you got a favorite and want to run it, you can certainly do that. Alright, we're getting quite a few clicks. So here is the Super RZ97. This is, again, a pretty good car. No engine mods, but we do need 3 weight reductions. 70 on the restrictor, 92 on the ECU, and 47 on the ballast. And I'm going to jump in this car just so it stays in order, but I'm not actually going to go through it. Where'd it go? There it is. Alright, again, it's the same exact car. I just built 2, so I had one for an oil change, because I can't really do an oil change when I'm hosting rooms, so I have to have 2 cars. Alright, there we go. Now we're to the MR2. This is another one of the original cars. Whoop. car settings. Again, no engine mods, no weight reductions needed. I would add the increased body rigidity. 85 on the restrictor, 0 ballast. So, pretty simple. Where's my Z? I keep missing the Z. Okay, this is our R33 GTR. 3 weight reductions, 70 and 93 on the restrictor and the ECU, and 23 on the ballast. Alright, next car up. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. The M397. Again, I haven't driven this car. This is one of the newer ones in the game. But we got 2 weight reductions. 70 on the restrictor and 99 on the ballast. And we're at 59. I'm sorry. 99 on the ECU. 59 on the ballast. This is already a 50-50 car, so I would just leave it. And this is a naturally aspirated car, so we have no turbocharger. So you're still going to use your... Every single car should have these 3. These 2 brake systems, you can do slotted or drilled, whichever one you prefer. Brake controller, and then the clutch and flywheel. Everything, every car should have that, including in the fully customizable manual. And remember, we're only adjusting the top speed, not the gear ratios on these manuals. Okay, so we're getting down there. Alright, so here's our 90... Wait a minute. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, that was 97. Okay, so this is 180SX. Again, very similar build to the Saladia. We just did stroke up instead of bore up, and you didn't have any restrictions that way. So 50 on the ballast, and you can take that wherever you wish. Oh, there it is right there. I thought I was missing. I was like, that's too early for that one. Alright. So again, this is the S14. Basically, it was sold here in the US as a 240 with a 2.4 liter, different engine. And this one, because it is turbo, doesn't need any mods, but we're going to be 96 on the restrictor. Don't forget your racing intercooler. 20 on the ballast. So this car used to not make the spec, but it does now pretty well. I think we're probably going to set the spec from now on at 610 or 611. So you may have to make some adjustments, but this one, again, nothing but increased body rigidity over here. 70 on the restrictor, 99 on the ECU. It's a 911 Carrera RS 93. So we're in our third of our trifecta of GTRs. Actually, you know what? There's 4 of them actually. Now that I remember, right? So weight reduction stage 1, 2, and 3, increased body rigidity, 70 on the restrictor, 98 on the output, 25 on the ballast, and you need your torque vectoring center differential. So again, these cars are within like 6 or 7 performance points each other, so I would say it's probably personal preference, whichever car you would like better. As far as the GTRs go, and then the Celica, this is another one of our original cars. Now, of course, since we originally ran these in the 1 series with Steve, we've added all the spec parts. So we got weight reduction stage 1, racing exhaust muffler and air filter intercooler, our fully customizable manual. We are at 83 on the restrictor and 28 on the ballast. And that's it for the Celica GT4. Alright, let's see here. Next one is the Volvo Estate. And again, I've never actually driven this car in racing, but I did build it because it is one of the newer ones in the game. You do have to do pretty much everything on the engine. That's under the Ultimate. Weight reduction stage 1. 84 on the restrictor after all that. 79 on the ballast. It is a 50-50 car already, so you don't have to mess with the ballast positioning. So that's your Volvo Estate. Again, that's got a different wing, so just put what you can on there, like that one there. It's similar, but not the same as the medium 22s. So into our other NSX. Again, this one barely made the numbers again, but now it fits in there nicely. Increased body rigidity. $77 on the restrictor, $40 on the ballast. That's your 92 NSX. And again, this one, same thing with the wing. You got to run the same wing on it that the other one did. It's because they don't offer the medium 22 on this one, the custom wing. So the 190E, let's see if this one picked up a little, I think a little bit of performance points. No engine mods necessary, but weight reduction stage 1. Increased body rigidity, and we're at 94 on the restrictor and 64 on the ballast. I'll try to speed things up here a little bit now that we've gotten through a lot of these, but make sure you can screenshot what you got. The Delta HF, another one of our original cars from the, I think this was the Fall Invitational series that Steve ran. No, Winter Sprint Series, I'm not sure, but these cars all came from there. Weight reduction stage 1 on this one gets it to 2,800 pounds. 99 on the restrictor, 55 on the ballast. So that knocks its points down a little bit because of the ballast required. But it's still a pretty good car. Zippy did very well with it in the series without the mods and the weight reduction. And that was in the original series. I don't think he's driven that much. Maybe once or twice in HECS. So the GTO twin turbo. I did run this car. It is it's front wheel drive biased, so it's a little heavy on like it chews up the tires a lot. So 3 weight reductions, 71 on the restrictor, 12 on the ballast. Again, we're going to move that to the back because this is again, it's a very front wheel drive biased all wheel drive car. But still a pretty good driving car. Just burned up a lot of tires when I used it. Alright, so now we're getting into some of the older ones. We're getting into the 80s here. So this is the last car that's 1990, this Turbo 2 Mazda. As you see, we did have to get some little bit more power. We did have to add polished ports and then increase body rigidity. We are at 100 on the restrictor, and 20 on the ballast. So that is your RX-7 GTX. Now this one, I know it's a little unstable according to people that have driven it. So again, like the FD, you're going to probably want to put either some downforce or really play with that differential. Now we're in the other 300ZX, and again, all of the Z cars seem to be really good. So weight reduction stage 1 and 2, 73 on the restrictor, 62 on the ballast, so you're putting quite a bit there.
People who drove it, it's fairly unstable indeed.
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of these cars, some of them are really stable, but they're not like super fast. I would say this one's in that category. This one's really stable. This one's not nearly as blistering fast as the Zs from the 2000s, like the 350 and 370Z. But it's still a good car. I've had decent runs in it. So the ZR1 from 89 fits in the category. This one needs a lot of, well, I actually thought it needed more, but just 2 weight reductions and then increased body rigidity. And then we're at 70 on the restrictor, 85 on the ECU, 13 on the ballast. And that's 604.31. That one didn't drop hardly at all with the new physics, so that might be a pretty competitive car now. The M3 Sport Evolution, one of the more, again, stable cars to drive. This one, no weight reductions, no engine mods needed. It's going to be at 93 on the restrictor, 70 on the ballast, and again, it's a 50-50 car, so I'd probably leave the weight in the middle. And that's the M3 Sport Evolution. As you can tell, the ones with the full liveries are ones I've driven, raced with. And this was actually from the DDRS series where I met Steve, and really was my first experience running private lobbies. Well, that's going back a few years. Before I think that might have been before. No, I think I was pretty much streaming then. Alright, so these are the cars I run most of the time. This is the Supra 3.0 Turbo. This was a special model. This one just needs a couple of weight reductions. Once we add all the performance enhancers, it goes up in power, so we can drop it back to 76 on the restrictor and 46 on the ballast. I would suggest running that in the back. And this is a pretty darn good car. Very sensitive to changes in the top speed on the diff. So I would, because this engine is more torquey than powerful, as you can see, 288 pound-feet of torque still. Or foot-pounds of torque. Why do I always say that backwards? And then the max power 253. So yeah, I'm restricting it quite a bit. Alright, that's one. I'm just going to go into the other one to keep it in order. It's basically the same car, so I'm not going to go into that one at all. That's just basically, again, so I can change my oil, quote unquote. Alright, so this, yeah, so I guess there was just a trifecta of GTRs, because this is a GTSR. This is a 2-liter. And this is the RB20. One weight reduction, power restrictor at 100, 64 on the ballast. And then putting that to the rear, about a third, or 33, that's actually over half to the rear, is going to get you a 50-50 weight distribution. Alright, we're just about to the classic cars now, so we'll... Let's see, where are we at? Yep, this is the last... How did I miss that one? I missed that one somehow in 92. I'm going to fix that real quick. So this is one I built this morning, actually. This is the 911 Carrera RS 964. So no changes there. Increased body rigidity. It was very close. And when we add our performance enhancers, this is a naturally aspirated version. We set the restrictor to 81. Okay, so that's the 92 Carrera RS. Okay, so give me just a minute to sort my list out so it stays on last used correctly. We got to go all the way back to 92. We're going to use this one. 91. It's weird because I'm usually going the other way and I'm going backwards this time. So bear with me here as I go through this. Glad I caught that when I did. Makes it a little easier than if I would have went all the way through. Alright, by doing this, by going into these cars, they come up on this last used, which I'm already set by my favorite cars now. Thank you again to JT. Okay, that got us where we needed to do. So the next car in line is the last car from the 80s, and this will be the last car in the 80s category. And that is the CRS Cosworth 87. This should be a pretty competitive car, I think, in this category. No weight reductions or engine mods needed. Increased body rigidity. With all of our bolt-on stuff, we're going to be 92 on the restrictor and 63 on the ballast. So this car, again, a lot of these cars have balanced out a lot better. I've noticed going through these as far as the performance points level goes. So that's a good sign. All right, now we're going to have to get, because I don't think these other cars are in order. So the next closest car is going to be your 78 Trans Am. And then the next one after that, oops, sorry, I should do the settings on that one. 3 weight reductions, increased body rigidity, and then we're going to be 100 on the restrictor, 100 on the ballast, and we'll be, 100 on the output adjustment and 57 on the ballast. And there's no aero mod you can add to the front of these. A lot of these older cars are like that. You can't add aero mods to them because they're not the same kind of splitter like we use on them now. Alright, so that is your Trans Am. Again, this is the car we drove in the Trans Am series with our HECS add-ons like the muffler exhaust and things like that, racing brakes. So that's the Trans Am 1978. Probably one of the best looking cars in my opinion of the 70s. Alright, next car up is going to be the 75 308 GTB, and that's the Ferrari. There are probably a couple other Ferraris you could build if you wanted to, but let me know and we can work on that. But again, this thing was right in the wheelhouse for the power and everything, so we didn't have to add anything. Weight, increased body rigidity. This thing was actually light. So power restrictor at 89 and then ballast at 180. And I moved that all the way to the front because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was dropping the performance points, so I left it kind of where it was. Whoop. Yeah, there we go, 574.10. And again, all these other settings over here you can set yourself. Your downforce, all that you can set. But transmission just by top speed. Alright, technically, the next car is a 73, but it doesn't actually give a year on it. But I was able to find it. So, the Greddy Fugu Z. And this is the same one we ran in that Fugu Z series. But we do have to add 170 of ballast because it's a pretty light car. And then 77 on the restrictor. Of course, we're adding our performance mods and all of our HECS goodies. We have another 73, and the reason I didn't do this one first is because there's actually a couple of versions of this car, I think. Where is it? Right here. Here we go. 73 CSL. This one, there's a 71 as well. They should be almost the exact same build. But we did add high lift camshaft and racing crankshaft on this to hit the numbers, which then we needed to go 1 on the restrictor and then 20 on the ballast on this car. Alright, so we at 73. I don't think there's a 72 model in the game here. So let's see. I think that puts us at, the the 71 Mustang Mach 1. And again, this is one of those, I think you got to watch the height, the ride height on it. So, weight reduction stage 1, 2, 3. 74 on the restrictor, 75 on the ballast. We move that to the back. And again, like I said, watch your ride height on these older cars because they can tend to rub on the fenders under heavy braking and cornering, which will affect your ability to drive it because it's going to stop it from steering. Alright, so now we're into, there's quite a few cars in the 69 and 70 range, so I'm going to go backwards here. The Super B, the Dodge, I think it's a Coronet, basically. Weight reduction stage 1 and 2, increased body rigidity, power restrictor at 70 and ECU at 95, and then 44 on the ballast. And this does give you a 5-speed, believe it or not. Even though these only had a 4-speed. So that's one of the reasons I like the fully customizable manual over like a standard transmission, is you get that little extra you'd have. And I love that pistol grip. Alright, we're getting down there.
The Fugazi is kinda special, since it was built recently, but the base is the 240Z. It's just a 240Z modded.
Yeah, and that's why it has to be restricted so much, because otherwise, I did not build my 240Z, but we will build that, because I think that, what is that, a 70? Oh, I don't have it in here. We'll jump in that one after all of these here, and see if it can be built, the regular 240Z. It might be more competitive because you're not restricting it so much, but we'll see. The Fugazi can really rev out. Okay, so we did the Super B, now the Super Bird, which I think I should have done them in reverse order, because I'm doing this alphabetically. But this one, weight reduction stage 1, 2, 3. I did finally wide body this thing. It doesn't really look any different. There's no rear wing, but no rear downforce adjustment, but there is a wing on there, so it's definitely getting downforce and side downforce, more importantly. Side force, I mean. So we're at 70 and 75 on the two engine controls, 70 on the restrictor, 75 on the ECU, and 60 on the ballast. So this car was fun as all get out to drive in that challenge they had. And I had only used it as a hisser, so it had a lot less power, but just being able to adjust everything made it work out really good. So I don't know why they put a manual or an automatic version on this thing. It's so stupid. Why didn't they have a... That's probably the only one they could find to scan, I'm assuming. Let's get back in this one so these are in the right order. Okay, so now the Super B is after the Super Bird. Because we're going backwards. Alright, so now we are just about done with our 1970s here. There is the Skyline. Now this one requires a ton of engine mods, pretty much all of them. So we're at 100 on the restrictor and ECU, but we're at 170 on the ballast because it's a very lightweight car to begin with. And you can see there's your setup. And again, you can't always get all the settings, but you see we got a front splitter, we got a rear wing, a medium 22, we got our wide body. Alright, next car up is our 1970 Chevelle SS454. This one, 3 weight reductions, 70 on the restrictor, 72 on the ECU, and 55 on the ballast. And it does allow some aero mods on the front, so you do make sure you get that correct front splitter there. So now we're into 1969 models. Alright, so we should be able to go just in this order. This is the Mustang Boss 429, 1969. It needs 3 weight reductions, 70 on the restrictors, 85 on the ballast, and 85 on the ECU, and 76 on the ballast. Now, I will say this one, you're going to want to run some ride height on it, because this one did rub. This was one I tried to race along with the Super Bee that rubbed. So make sure you run ride height on these older cars. Don't run them as low as possible. Alright, there's also a couple other ones in here that I didn't build. There's I think it's the Maserati Martic? I forget what it's called now. But I did build this De Tomaso because it's going to be a very similar car, a similar build. This one, though, being the American V8, needs no engine mods or anything, but does have increased body rigidity. 72 on the restrictor, 85 on the ballast. This has a really heavy rear weight bias, so you could probably move all of that to the front now, I think. Well, that actually lowered the numbers for some reason. What did I have it at? What was it at? 11 or something? Oh, there it is. Yeah, negative 11. Okay. So that's your De Tomaso Mangusta. Okay, next one. GTO the Judge. Very similar car to the the Chevelle as far as the body. But this one we did add a racing crankshaft in it. Weight reduction stage 1, 2, 3, and increased body rigidity, and then we were at 70 and 82, and 79 on the ballast. And as you could see, I wanted to point this out. It does, I didn't have any in there, but it does have some front downforce with that front splitter on there, and it's the wider one, I think, that gives you the front downforce adjustment. All right. Almost done with the 69s here. This one was pretty competitive. The numbers are actually down a little bit with the adjustment. So, weight reduction stage 1 and 2, 70 on the restrictor, 891 on the output adjustment, and 34 on the ballast. This one's numbers went down a little bit because it was like almost 600 before, I believe. I'm missing one of my... No, I guess that's an older one. That's why I haven't gotten it to it yet. Okay, nope, there, I see it. Okay, so this Camaro... Now this thing, just listen to this thing when it starts. It sounds awesome. Oh, that sounds good. That's the old 302 5-liter. Or 4.9 liter. Weight reduction stage 1 and 2. 75 on the restrictor, 96 on the ballast. That's your Z28 Camaro, 1969. And this one does not, even with the splitter, does not allow you any front downforce adjustments. So it's unfortunate, but it looks like it'd be a really good car other than that. I think that probably hurts it because there's no front downforce adjustment on it, but it sounds great. Especially when it first starts, that's in there. Okay, 1968, there's just one model, and that is the Charger. And I didn't reduce the weight on this one, so we got to do that while we're in it. So we'll set that. So we got weight reduction stage 1, 2, and 3. Oh, you know what? Oh, this one. Oh, that's right. This one. That's as low as I could get it. So this one probably is gonna. I mean, you're welcome to drive it if you want, but it's really hurt because of the weight, and you can't change it. And I don't think. Yeah, that goes to 256, which isn't going to make that much difference anyway. So we're at 70 and 75 on the restrictor. Let's try that. Nope. So it's going to be 256, so we can't use any more power. But that's going to be the one restriction. The problem with the Charger is that we can't get it any lower on the weight. That must be why I had it out of the category. I didn't figure out why I didn't have it in the category earlier. All right, so this one, now I got to make an adjustment on this one too because I use it in challenges. This is the Toyota 2000 GT, and as you can see, we've got pretty much every engine mod and the increased body rigidity. We're at 98 on the restrictor with all those mods, and then we're going to add, what are we going to need to add? Oh, quite a bit, actually. Oh, this one's going to have a ton of weight added to it. This will now become the most restricted car. Yep, there we go. So 150 on the ballast on this one. Again, no front aero adds. So 588.37 though still has pretty good performance. This car handles magnificently. So it might be one you might want to consider. But it is expensive, very expensive. So that's your 2000 GT, and then now we're to the 65 Mustang, I believe. GT350. Yeah, we're down to the last few cars here. This is another one that rubbed, so make sure you run some body height. No engine mods, no weight reductions. It's at 73 on the restrictor, 0 ballast, and 100 on the output. And again, like I said, run some right height on that thing because it does tend to rub when you push it into the corners. All right, this one, again, this one was another one that's gone down with the new settings. So no engine mods, but weight reduction stage 1. 70 on the restrictor, 88 on the ECU, 28 on the ballast, and that puts this one mid 570s. This one was actually around 600, I think, before. So something in the physics changed on this one. All right. This Jaguar E-Type coupe here, they do not allow you to put a wide body on it. It's basically a wide body car to begin with. So weight reduction stage 1 is all we need. Then we're 79 on the restrictor. We got to add 100 ballast back in it. It is a 50-50 weight distribution, so I did not move that. There is no front aero. This body is all about aerodynamics. You're going to add some drag, putting the rear downforce in it. But should run good at Goodwood, I would think. Just because it's kind of designed for that track. Or used there a lot. So, good looking car though. Love the lines on these things. This is one of the prettiest cars ever made. Alright. Last real car. So this is the Wicked Fabrication GT51. It's a 51 Lincoln. Now, weight reduction stage 1, power restrictor at 70, ECU at 83, ballast at 66. Alright, now I'm going to bring the last one up just because you can. And that is the Jeep, because I just want to show you the disparity between it. It's actually worse than the Prius. First of all, there's no aero on this car because it's basically you're driving a brick. I put every engine mod on it, everything that we could put on it, including a medium RPM turbocharger, and I still couldn't get it in the spec. And I had to add weight, so it's just killed its power. But I wonder if we change this, if it make any difference. Oh, look at that, 529.88. Alright, let's just try 15 and see what that does. Yeah, 530.78, that's not bad for this thing. But I've tried to race with it. It's impossible. It's got, I think, a 3-speed transmission. I guess it is a 4-speed, but it's got 2 overdrives. 3 overdrives. It ain't gonna do much. Alright, so that is your full list of hissers. And again, our categories are going to be, and I'll show you that one more time now that the cars are all in order. So the first race is going to be the pre-1980 race, which is going to be from basically this one up to the Trans Am here. So that's your category cars there. And again, there's another GTR and that you can build, but it's the same engine, so it's going to be basically the same build as this one. I did not build it. There's another CSL. You can build the regular Z if you can get it up in the spec. Just make sure to stay out of the ultimate engine mods if we can. And then, so once we get to the next category cars, it's going to be 1980 to 1999, basically, to 2000. So you can run the Sierra, the Skyline, the Supras, the M3. There's a few other cars you could probably build in there too, but you need to let me know so I can build one if you're going to do that. And I gotta have it if it's not in the used cars. As you go through the list here, you can see all of these cars up to this is going to be a pretty competitive category here. All the way up to right here are only allowed in the 1980 to 99. I say 1980 to 2000, but it's technically 99. Those are going to be the ones that are allowed. There is one exception right there, the DeLorean, because that's technically an 82. And then I am going to allow, of course, the 99s because it's the category. These two. So the DeLorean and the S2000, the Impreza, and the Tuscan can all be run in both categories. So you could run the same car in both categories. Those are the only 4, when we include the DeLorean, that I'll allow to do that. Because the 2000 categories technically starts right here and is going to go through all the modern cars. So that's going to be a big category. So right here, this would be your cutoff. And then this is your border cars. these 4. This one, the Impreza, the Tuscan, and then the DeLorean. Those will be able to be allowed to be used in both categories. But then the 2000 and up would be your Sylvia Spec R Aero here, your Viper Reduced, your NSX, and then through the list. Again, the Prius, don't ignore that one. You can't get that one up to spec. If you want to run that in, it's fine, but you're going to get walked away from. But and that's going to get us all the way up to the Z Performance 23, the most recent car as far as model year that you can run on the game, and that is your full category of the hissers for the HECS Summer Series Championship Part 2, the Goodwood Festival of the Ages, as we're calling it. And again, I will set up here. Let me go set up the lobby because I think it's going to be set up here. I think I've got one set up in here, so I'll set that up. And then we'll see about, maybe we can just jump in here real quick. We can just take a few minutes and see if we can build that 240Z. Well, it's taking forever to check the network environment here. Alright, we're going to load settings. There should be a Goodwood one in here. We'll just go all the way down and work our way back up because I don't know where it's at. I don't see it passing. Look at there. Alright, we're going to change this. Event 10. Summer. Part 2. Well, I don't think I'm going to be able to put Goodwood in there, but we're going to HECS Summer Championship Part 2. We're going to do this. Oh, still had one left. Look at that. HE Summer Championship Part 2 Goodwood Festival of the Ages. We're going to set it up practice and race because we will be practicing first. Actually, no, I'll set it up practice qualifier race. I can change that. Alright, we're going to change to save the settings. I'm going to go all the way down and find that one and overwrite it. Season 3, Event 10, Goodwood. FODA. Festival of the Ages, the Goodwood FODA. Alright, so now we're going to go in and adjust all these settings. Let's see. What do we run? What do these things run? About a minute 15. So we'll probably do... we'll just start at 20 laps and see how that works for the qualifying races. Yeah, we'll just go right down the list. Alright, these will be a grid start. Fastest first, settings, options. Now we're going to take this off. Boost, non-slipstring, strength, real, mechanical damage, light. Visible damage on, 3-3. 20 liters per second. Default, 120 race finish. Qualifying, let's see, 5 minutes should be enough for qualifying. Same as during the race, It's going to be no limit. PP limit is 616. Actually, I'm going to make it 611 because I don't think any other cars were over. $255. Minimum weight 2,800 pounds. It's gonna be interesting because if there are pits required, you might be able to put softs on some of these cars now that we couldn't before, so should make things a Little interesting. All the tires allowed. Mediums required. Nitrous cannot be installed. Engine swap is unrestricted. Kart usage, and we are going to put this extreme in lower because there's only 2 cars. I think we had to get into the S's. I can change that, but I don't really want that. That just is just another restriction that keeps everybody honest. Alright, so now we're going to save those settings again. And then we're going to go create the room just to make sure it works. It should be limited to what cars it allows me here. Obviously in the Jeep right now. Yep, looks like it... why is this one saying settings? Oh, it must be on the wrong tires. Okay. Alright, looking good. It looks good. Looks like we can get access all of our cars. Okay, so we'll try to see what we can do with that 240Z. I do have one. I don't think it's available anywhere else right now. Let me just double check used cars in case it changed this morning. Nope. It's not in there. Maybe they changed the Legends cars this morning. There was several out last night. Nope, they still haven't changed them out. And there's your Jaguar if you want to run that one. Those be in the Chevelle. Those are all potential hitters. And the Corvette. Especially if you don't have a vintage one. Get what you can get. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Because I know it's not in there. So we're going to have to go in our garage. Change car. We're going to pull out of favorite cars, all cars. And we're going to do them by year so I can find it easier. Because I think that's a 69. We're getting there. Oh, 71. Okay. So this is the one you want to start with to build this Z. Let's see if we can do it while everyone is watching. So we are at 147 horse and 2,227 pounds. It may not make the weight, but we'll see what we can do here. First things first. As always, wide body. So we'll see if this car works as a hisser here. I'm going to take a... excuse me. Take us a minute here. We'll put the similar... There's a similar looking wheel in here, so we'll do kind of that. I think it's these. Kind of look like the stock wheels. Again, we're going to go 17 if we can. Wide. Wide. Well, it looks really different on this car. And then we're going to add our front splitter like. Not just an air dam, we want the splitter. Doesn't look like... Looks like we can put the wing on. Oh. There we go. Okay. Gotta put the old school on this one. Well, that's all we get. Ooh, we can put a full roll cage in it though, that's good. Actually, I don't like those wheels. Let's put something better looking on there. How about these? These might look better on there. Oh, you know what would look good on these would look good. There we go. That'll look good on there. Again, wide if you can. Otherwise, as much wide as you can put on there. Okay, we did the custom parts. Now we go to racing items. We did that. Did that. So now we can go and add our brighter lights. And actually, just because this is an old school car, I'm going to do this. License plate type A rear only. Okay, grill and caliper color not available. Now we're into the performance parts. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can get this thing up where it needs to be. We definitely don't need weight reduction. So we won't need ballast, but we are going to need... Oh, we do need ballast. We will need power restrictor, possibly. But we don't need that weight reduction. Let's see what we got for engine options up here. Let's just start over here and start with bore up. High lift camshaft. High compression pistons. It's going to be tight. Racing crankshaft. Fully customizable computer. I don't know if this one's going to make it. Fully customizable LSD. Fully customizable manual. Increased body rigidity. Definitely on an older car like this. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can get there. Stroke up. 213. I don't know. I don't think it's going to get there. It's going to be really close. It's going to be really close, though. 240. I might have to open up these rooms. I don't know. Let's finish everything else out. Okay. I'm not going to do those other engine mods. Let me make sure I got everything. Yep, I got that. Got those. Yep. We're not going to change the aspiration. Yeah, I don't see. Let's see what this will even do. Yeah, that would get us where we needed to be, so... Alright. Let's go see if we can get the weight there. If we can't get the weight there, it ain't going to make any difference. Nope. Doesn't make it. So, car can't... Yep, we can't make this car... You got the Fugu Z, so we don't have to worry about this one. But at least I got a good car I can build for challenges. I'd probably go in and do weight reduction. It looks cool, but we do have the Fugu Z we can use, so... But we can't get this one in the spec. Can't get the weight to where it needs to be, so that is a scratch. Alright, well that is it. Again, if anybody has any questions, we will run roughly 20 minutes by laps. And again, it's not exactly the same, but roughly 20 to, I try to go 20 to 22 minutes. By time for the qualifying heat race is Friday night. And again, there'll be one race in the pre-1980s, one 1980 to 2000, and one 2000 and up. And that'll be our 3 qualifying heat races. Again, we'll be qualifying in the vintage cars because we're going to start on those first. And then finishing up with the modern cars, the 2000 and up. And then we'll flip it for the main race. So we will start with the modern cars and finish with the vintage. So, I think that is it for this stream. Thank you everybody for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If you want to race with us, reach out to me. There is my information. Just find me and then friend me on PlayStation Network here. I do have the app, so I can check that during the day. And then I can get you added into our group chat, which we have, where I post all of the information for the series. So I think that's it. I can't think of anything else that's important. I will be getting the points as we go into the Friday night races, and then also before we go into Saturday night's races. So again, the way I'm scoring this, because it's a two-part single event, but it's two parts, we are going to get race points for qualifying heat races in Part 1, which we did already. Race points for qualifying, or for the KingPittdawg Racing, and the bonus points for those two, for Part 1. And then race points for our qualifying heat races Friday night, and our main races on Saturday night. And then, of course, bonus points associated with that. And then the event points will be the two parts, their average finish through all of those, and all the way up to the I lost my train of thought here. Got distracted. Okay, so yeah, it'll be the two parts will be have their own average for the total average finishes, and that's going to be your qualifying heat races and your main races. The average finish, again, when I calculate the KingPittdawg Racing 500, I do average out the 3 stages, so that does count towards your average. And then the part that'll be the same way for the main races, the Goodwood races. So those average finishes will be combined, so it'll be Part 1 and Part 2 total average, and then that'll give you the average for the whole event, and that's how the event points, which are totally based on your average finishes, are calculated. But there will only be one set of event points. It'll be 100 points, just like normal, but it'll be split between the two parts. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody with that. It's actually pretty simple, basically considering the two parts separate races for average finish calculation, and then but the two combined for the event points. So it's really not that difficult. My scoring system really isn't that difficult. It's just kind of a little bit hard to track sometimes if you're trying to do it yourself. So that's it for today, and I'll see you next week. And hopefully we'll have some good fun racing in these cars. It'll be very interesting to see how they work out. So thanks everybody again, and what cars people choose too, because a lot of these we haven't driven before. Some people haven't driven them. They've driven like 1 or 2 different cars, so it'll be interesting. Thanks everyone. We'll see you around next time. Until then, KingPittdawg out.